Good morning. Let's try that again. Good morning. Welcome to this on-site and online worship service of the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock. I'm Reverend Jaye Brooks. My pronouns are she and her. I'm one of the ministers here, along with my colleagues, the Reverend Jennifer Brower and the Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore. Today, on site, we're live streaming from the tent on this remarkably beautiful Halloween morning. Yes, Halloween. Today is the final Sunday of our October worship and learning theme, Cultivating Relationships. And how appropriate that many people here, and I hope people online, are in costume. Because during this worship service, we consider how we cultivate our relationship with ourselves. And the Halloween costumes we choose may express something about the ways in which we hope to grow, to be braver, kinder, stronger, wiser, or in the case of zombie costumes, more determined. This morning begins with children in the service before they leave for their religious education classes, either on-site or online. It's a special joy to have our multi-generational jazz ensemble here to begin the service with Lester Leaps In by Count Basie. In the words of the great poet Maya Angelou, I'd call a place pure paradise, where families are loyal and strangers are nice, where the music is jazz and the season is fall. That's what we have this morning. Loyal families, nice strangers, jazz and fall. Our opening words this morning are "The Soul" from the book The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. The hidden wellspring of your soul must needs rise and run murmuring to the sea, and the treasure of your infinite depths would be revealed to your eyes, for self is a sea, boundless and measureless. Say not, I have found the truth, but rather, I have found a truth. Say not, I have found the path of the soul. Say rather, I have met the soul walking along my path. For the soul walks upon all paths. The soul walks not on a line, neither does it grow like a reed. The soul unfolds itself like a lotus of countless petals. Each Sunday, we light the chalice of our religious heritage. Today, the Smith Forger family will kindle the flame. Here they come, Caroline, Brian, Covina, and Henrietta. We do this for our ancestors who taught through their various religious traditions and by their actions for justice and hope. We do this for our children who are learning the traditions we teach and who learn more from our actions than from our words. We do this for ourselves. Okay, let's. Thank you. A little applause is in order, I think. We do this for our children who are learning the traditions we teach and who learn more from our actions than from our words. We do this for ourselves to remind us of who we are and who we seek to become. This flame symbolizes the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment.
The congregation's words of affirmation express the purpose and intention for our gathering in religious community. Many on site and online know the words by heart, others do not. To keep us all together as one community, we'll say the words of affirmation as call and response. I'll say a line and you repeat it. Ready? Love is the doctrine of this congregation.
Love is the doctrine of this congregation.
The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer.
The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek knowledge in freedom.
To seek knowledge in freedom.
To serve human need.
To serve human need.
This do we affirm and covenant with each other.
This do we affirm and covenant with each other.
Our story today is called Change Sings, a children's anthem by Amanda Gorman, whom you may remember as the amazing young poet who read at the most recent inauguration. I can hear change humming, its loudest, proudest song. I don't fear change coming, and so I sing along.
I scream with the skies of red and blue streamers. I dream with the cries of tried and true dreamers.
I'm a chant that rises and rings. There is hope where my change sings. Though some don't understand it, those windmills of mysteries, I sing with all the planets and its hills of histories.
I hum with 100 hearts, each of us lifting a hand. I use my strength and my smarts, take a knee to make a stand. I'm bright as the light each day brings. There is love where my change sings.
I show others tolerance, though it might take some courage. I don't make a taller fence, but fight to build a better bridge. I talk not only of distances from where and how we came, I also walk our differences to show we are the same.
I'm a movement that roars and springs. There's a wave where my change sings.
Change sings where?
There, inside me. I'm the change I want to see.
As I grow, it grows like seeds. I am just what the world needs. I am the voice where freedom rings. You're the love your bright heart brings.
We are the waves starting to spring, for we are the change we sing.
We're what the world is becoming, and we know it won't be long. We all hear change strumming. Won't you sing along? The children are going to parade for us to show us their costumes.
Today, we are continuing our special collection to support the North Shore Soup Kitchen and the AIDS Center of Queens County. Your donations provide needy families with meals during Thanksgiving and the December holidays. Whether you're here under the tent or gathered online, donate via your smartphone or other device at PayPal, or on the giving section of the UUCSR website, uucsr.org, choose Special Collection. If you're here on site, you can place the donation in the basket at the rear of the tent as you leave the worship service. Thank you.
Our anthem this morning is Open the Window by Elise Witt.
Ken, can you come? Ken?
It's great to see some of our adults rocking those costumes. When I was in the 4th grade, I was obsessed with dinosaurs. And that was the year that my mother made me the best Halloween costume ever, a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It had a long neck and a big head that rose far above my own. And it had teeth, and the ends of my little hands had claws. It was ferocious and very green. I loved it. It even won a prize. Truly one of my mother's great acts of motherhood, although I don't think she ever made that elaborate a costume again. I have a friend who tells me that once upon a time, he was a real-life T-Rex. When I met Ernest, he was in the midst of an amazing spiritual transformation. Before he began to work on spiritually deepening, he had been a T-Rex. He worked constantly. He had a controlling manner with everyone he knew. He had an anger management program. He literally roared at people. At least that's what he said. I believed him. But he wanted to change, and so he read everything written on spiritual growth. He made lists of the great spiritual teachers and what they taught. He channeled his workaholic behavior and his drive for success toward achieving spiritual greatness. And he was baffled that it didn't seem to be working. I met Ernest at a time when he had a deep insight. He'd realized, finally, that altogether, everything that he did, his work, his effort to learn about spirituality, his effort to study spiritual growth in every spare moment, between his regular job and his self-assigned job of learning about spirituality, he didn't have a spare moment to be quiet with himself. He said, I fill up all my time with something, anything, work, reading about great spiritual teachers, so that I won't be alone with myself. Although Ernest had identified the T-Rex behaviors he didn't like and was struggling to change, his solution had been merely to shift the focus of his T-Rex behavior. But it was still T-Rex behavior. He strove constantly like a T-Rex, roaming, continually looking for food. He still controlled and dominated. He still occasionally roared at others, and now in remorse at himself. And then he came to this moment when he decided to allow himself time alone with no assignment except to see what came up. It was perhaps his first attempt to cultivate a relationship with himself. And he told me later that he realized that he'd been afraid to be alone with himself. There were reasons for that. He'd had a very difficult childhood. He'd been afraid of not having enough money to provide for his family. That had led to his constant striving. And there were other things. There were also tears and prayers and long walks and appointments with a therapist. But he kept on making time to be alone with himself without filling his mind with other things, distractions as they were, from the truth of his inner self. And he changed. It was remarkable how he changed. I was there for the the end of that transformation, and I suppose it's still going on as he grows more sure of himself, more aware of what he has to give to the world and to others. He changed his behavior, but not because he was controlling himself, because he was accepting what the truth was of himself and the things he wanted to change. He was accepting what had brought him to be the T-Rex he so deplored. When I think back to my fourth grade fascination with dinosaurs, it's easy to see that I longed for what many children want, to be braver and stronger, to be more able to control what happens. Because children aren't in control of most of what happens to them. So it's no wonder that at Halloween we see witches and ghosts and Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, and yes, zombies. The costumes are a way to try on aspects of character they long for without being challenged or blamed for their choices. Simply asking them, why do you want to be a T-Rex, or whatever the costume is, can invite a conversation with the child about what's going on inside. Or maybe not. Even children, maybe especially children, are not always willing to reveal what's going on inside. And what about adults? When I look back on my fourth grade T-Rex costume and who I was then, I can see all that longing to be braver and stronger and more in charge of myself. But today, there's a balance. In a way, this robe I wear on Sundays is a costume that, for me, symbolizes that balance, that symbolizes what and who I want to be. Braver, yes, always, and also kinder, more compassionate. Stronger, yes, but not the kind of stronger that conquers and controls. Instead, I want the strength to carry on, to endure, to see things through. And wiser, more aware of when and how to use my gifts, whatever they are, to meet the world's needs. Not so much a T-Rex costume, more of a Dalai Lama costume. But anytime I say the name Dalai Lama, I remember that he spends 12 to 14 hours a day in meditation, an amount of time that in my own life is filled with so many other things. But if the Dalai Lama is my moral example, someone who is consistently braver and kinder and stronger and wiser than I will ever be, my moral reminder is Ernest, the former T-Rex. Ernest, whose insight was in words so simple but in practice so difficult, as he found, to make time to be alone with the self. Cultivate a relationship with the self, with the soul. Discover the needs and fears, the fierce longing, the inner wisdom that may lie beneath all the layers of mask and costume. There is no cultivation of garden or of spirit without effort. But the way is not in more striving, more control, but in letting go, in wondering, in being open to the learning that arises from within. We wear layers of costume every day. Which disguises will we grow into? Which will we let fall away? When will the inner self and the outer self align with integrity and peace? The soul unfolds itself like a lotus of countless petals. May it be so. We come to the end of this special time together, this time in worship when we consider what's important in our own lives and in the life of the world. I will extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into all the world.